How's it going, folks, and welcome back to Atalanta. Today we have a transfer special. If you didn't see last episode, Champions League final versus Man City. You should totally go and check that one out if you didn't already. And well, I'm going to assume you've seen it by now. If you haven't, final warning, we good? Right, here we are. New season at Atalanta, looking to go that one step further. 2 Serie A titles won in a row, a Champions League final reached. This coming year, Club World Cup to win, Champions League to win. I need to do it before FM23 or I'm just going to feel sad. Now, before we talk about this year's transfers and the plans for this year, one of my favourite new additions to Football Manager in 2022 was the signings of the season. And you can see here, signing of the season, Benjamin Sesko. Yeah, 23 goals in 25 games he got for us, 8 assists as well. You might also notice Yunus Musa and Papetti also got in the runner-up spots. And yeah, to have 3 of the top 5 signings last season is good. I think that might be a little bit difficult to match again this year. Now, in terms of transfers already ongoing, we're about to sell Hateboer, who I know for the Dutch viewers, you're going to be upset, you're going to be mad. I have got rid of a lot of the Dutch players during our time here at Atalanta. I promise there's no vendetta, there's no conspiracy. Ultimately, though, at 30 years old, he's a good player. I think we can do a little bit better. And, well, we had a bid of £20 million made for him by Real Madrid. Given his age, given the fact he's only got 1 year left on his contract, it just kind of made sense to cash in on him. So, signing number 1 that we really need this year, a backup right mid. I mean, I say all of this, actually, this year, Renato Sanchez has slotted in at right mid on occasion, as has Zach Kyan. So, whilst it would be good to get a replacement for Hateboer, it might not be the end of the world if we don't get one. Elsewhere in the team, a few players who I may be looking to move on, the kind of players that we're offering out to see if we can generate some funds. Right now, we have £33 million to spend and a little bit of wage budget. Ultimately, we don't get the most TV money in the world as Atalanta in Serie A. And whilst the overall balance is really healthy, I'm not feeling much of a kickback from that budget and from that balance by the board. So if we want to spend, we need to sell. Players like Romero, maybe on the chopping block. Another player who I'm maybe going to sell is Saleh. He's a little bit unhappy at the moment because he wants a new contract and I declined an offer from Manchester United. They bid 40 million. You can see his value here is 51 to 64 million. I want to believe that we can get that kind of money. Unfortunately, I swear before I hit start record, Manchester United and Newcastle were here as major interests. Apparently they're not interested in him anymore. That might make moving him on tricky. But yeah, if I could sell Saleh for 60 million, I would probably take it. No one wants him now, though, so this is awkward. Besides that, one other player who has been attracting a little bit of interest that we might like to move on is Guiri, 24 years old. Good player, the Frenchman, but a player who is very much a backup player at this moment in time. Apparently his actual playing time is higher than that. That is not correct. In fact, no, apparently that's his agreed playing time. I'm going to change him to a fringe player. Kind of surprised he's not cried about it. You know how players are in Football Manager. They like to moan. But again, he's the kind of player who I'd like to sell. I did make a bit of a mistake. I promised him I wasn't going to sell him. So moving him on could be tricky. So we have now confirmed the sale of Hateboer. First thing to do, really. I was just delaying selling him until we hit the start record button. Worth noting, it is the start of July. So I am joining you guys with the transfer window already open. I was kind of hoping that with this, there'd be a load of bids day one. It's not worked out that way so far. So just looking at our balance, we do now have a transfer budget of 52 million. In terms of players I've been looking at some of the transfer listed Italians. I'm looking at players like Sandro Tonali at 87 million, thinking you'd be quite a good signing. That said, we do already have Ricci, we do already have Ravella. Do I really need Tonali as well at centre mid? I mean, he probably is maybe a little bit better than both of them. But 87 million's a lot. We don't really have 87 million. Elsewhere, in terms of transfer listed players, Locatelli is another semi-tempting option. But unfortunately, 75 million is his asking price. I can't afford 75 million. And another player who I have been looking at, the kind of player who I might look to sign if I could sell Guiri for good money, would be Moise Kean. That said, 56 million. I feel like the likes of Juve and Milan, they ask so much more than I could ever dream of asking for my players. I feel like they're not even really options. Beyond that, I'm looking at players like Mancini here, who is a good little player, 28 years old, 15 caps, really, really good defender. The kind of man who, if Saleh left, he might be the Saleh replacement. Of course, this all hinges on me selling Saleh. ultimately, with our squad, obviously, Hatterbar's left. We're going to look to replace him. There isn't like a massive need to sign a load of new players, really. I mean, our current squad size, if I just highlight all players and right-click, it's 25 players. It's a good size. We probably have a few too many extra centre mids, so maybe I could look at selling on someone like Esposito if the right offer came in. But yeah, the squad balance is good. I think this transfer window is just about adding 1 or 2 high-quality players, and to do that, I think sales might be necessary. You know, we're in this weird spot where if someone turned up and said, here's 100 million for Benjamin Sesko, as much as I don't really want to sell him, I would almost certainly have to weigh that up because of the options it would open up in terms of players we could get in. Just as a little refresher, this is our best 11 as things stand right now. Raspadori and Luca up top. Of course, Luca kind of interchangeable, I suppose, with Sesko. You could have either of them up front. They're both very good players. That is one of the reasons why if a bid came in for Sesko, I'd definitely be open to selling him because we have got some really good strikers already. Of course, when we look at the rest of the team, DeMarco, Pessina, Sanchez, Musa, Ricci, I am wondering now, is there an argument to suggest that Zach Hyen should be in the starting 11? Is there an argument to suggest that the team I played in the Champions League final is actually our best 11? You know, is Pessina actually better than Renato Sanchez? I mean, when you look at them like this, AB, there's not a great deal in them, to be honest. And with Zach Hyen, he has got very good recently, hasn't he? If I just compare him with Pessina, nowhere near as well-rounded, but he is so good going forward. It's one of those weird ones where if I didn't have the defensive midfielder behind the 2 centre mids, I'd almost always go with Pessina because he's better rounded. But with us having kind of Sanchez and Ricci, I do feel like there's an argument to just, you know, start Zach Hyen this year. Worth noting, by the way, Zach Hyen, one of my favourites. Interest from Liverpool and Newcastle. If a bid came in around that value, I'm going to have a horrible, really difficult decision to make that I don't want to have to make. So if Liverpool or Newcastle are watching, please don't bid on him. Incidentally, if I did get a bid for Zach Hyen, I already have the replacement eyed up. I've been planning ahead for my heartbreak. Thiago Almada, Argentine player. Many of you are going to be familiar with him. He's very good traditionally in Football Manager. Did you know, some of you definitely did, he's part Italian. He is part Italian, so as part of our Italian vision for the future, if Zach Hyen was to leave, if that bid did happen, I know who I'm going to try and go for. And given the fact he's playing for Brighton, which with respect to Brighton, not the biggest club in the world, they are a team that I think we could actually lure him away from. One thing that I saw in the comments of yesterday's video, or not yesterday's video, the last video, of course, we've had a weekend since last video, was people talking about the likes of Bastoni, saying, Jack, you should go and sign Bastoni. Bit sad this really. Players like Bastoni aren't considered realistic transfers. He has absolutely no interest in joining me. And I'll be honest, it upsets me a little bit because he is an Atalanta kid at heart. He started at Atalanta and, well, he's been corrupted by money. If that isn't a metaphor for the world we live in, I don't know what is. Also, before we start mashing the continue button, something that happened straight after the last episode, which kind of forgot to mention by now, which I probably should have done sooner in the video. We're currently looking at building a new stadium. Apparently the planned capacity is only 30,000, so not sure why we're planning a stadium that small. I feel like we should be going bigger, but compared to our current ground that holds 22,500, I guess it's an improvement. But yeah, just something to have on your radar. New stadium could be on its way, which is, I guess, a sign that we are becoming a bigger and bigger club, which is nice. The weirder transfer offers I've had, Luca Pellegrini, our backup left mid, £12 million from Newcastle. He's valued at 28 to 33 million. I feel like they're taking the Michael, bidding as little as that. I'm going to tell them to do one in no uncertain terms. In fact, I wish there was an extra option here where I could give them a tone to which I'm going to reject the offer. You know, like in team talks, how you do a tone there. Let me, you know, add a bit of sass to our message because they are taking the absolute mick. Like, ultimately, in our system, having a player who can play left back and play left mid as the backup is always really, really nice. In fact, it's obviously something that we saw in the final of the Champions League. We don't have on the right-hand side with Musa. Musa can't play right back. Obviously, Hatterbar has now left the club. I suppose I probably should be looking at a player who can play on the right-hand side and at right mid. And, well, I have been doing that a little bit already. Spoilers. You can see here some of the players, although if we just tick the realistic transfer and put it down to doubtful, few of the players that I was looking at do vanish. One man who caught my eye who would be pretty good as this backup option is Nandez. Issue, he reminds me of Nando's, so it'd make me hungry all the time saying his name. Also, value of 36 to 42 million. He's good. he's not 30 million good. I'm not paying 30 million pounds for the backup right mid. You can see other players here. Zaniolo, a player who I would be kind of keen to sign despite his injury issues, but again, he's good, but minor issue. He's left-footed and he can't play right back. In terms of players who can play right back and can also play right mid, there was one man I was looking at who I think is, I'm going to have to lower this to competent to find, and that is Calabria, who is definitely more of a fullback than a wide midfielder who can defend, and he is also valued at 59 million, which is a lot of money. So, yeah, the other option I have, not actually an option at all, it turns out. I do feel like, unfortunately, we're kind of looking for a needle in a haystack, looking for a man who can play right mid, can play right back, and is Italian, and ideally has their better years ahead of them, and is willing to be a backup. You can see when I apply all these filters, the options, they're not very good. I mean, we could bring back Amad Diallo. He is a right midfielder. He's also left-footed and doesn't have a defensive bone in his body. So the whole kind of right-back thing, he can't do that. Del Prato, I mean, he's just rubbish. I think we're just going to have to accept that whoever we play at right mid can't play right back. And if we ever do want to go to a back four, at least we have Papetti, who can maybe go and play on the right. I realise, actually, all our problems would be solved if I sold Soleil and then just put Papetti in his place at right centre-back. Because Papetti can play right back, you know, it'd be a really easy move to slot DeMarco back, move Papetti to right back, and then play with the two centre-backs of Badia, Chile and Romero. Maybe that is just the play, because, yeah, there isn't the wide midfielder that I need that exists, sadly. At least who's Italian. And I do want to stick to this Italian philosophy I've really been trying to drill into this team over the last year or so. So I decided to do a little bit of fishing. I just cast out a net. A net, he says, as he casts out a rod with his miming. Cast out a rod. Do you cast out a rod? I think I've never been fishing, I'll be honest. Either way, I've offered up Guiri for an unspecified price to see if anyone would bid on him. Wolfsburg have bid 29 million. Apparently, his preferred destination would be Chelsea. Chelsea aren't bidding for him. I'm going to accept this offer of 29 million and issue an ultimatum to the other teams. I do feel like if I sold Guiri for 29 million, whilst I feel like that is a little less than probably what he's worth, it'd open the opportunity to maybe bring in Gnotto and have him be kind of the more immediate backup striker behind the likes of Sesko, Luca and Raspadori. We could maybe even look at more Italian striking options. I mean, could we just go and get Moise Kean? Is that an option? The issue is Moise Kean's price, isn't it? I mean, Martinelli's available. He's part Italian. 121 million is quite a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it'd make sense to get rid of him. And we could get him Pellegrini. I don't know. I just kind of want to get more Italian players, and then Guiri feels like a player to sell on. No, my luck, he's going to turn down Wolfsburg anyway, so I don't know why I'm worrying about things. Okay, good news. Leipzig have decided to match Wolfsburg's offer. Of course, Guiri apparently wants to go to Chelsea. Elsewhere, Benfica have made a bid for Renato Sanchez of 25.5 million. I signed him for 12.5 million. He's had 2 good years, but I do feel like Zakarian outperformed him a little bit in centre mid. His value is actually a bit higher, I think, than what Benfica have actually offered, and it's a locked-in offer. Apparently, he's very interested in speaking to Benfica and will need a lot of convincing to stay, which I don't love to read. I mean, now I'm questioning everything. I'm going to reject the offer, and I'm going to offer him out for an unspecified amount just to see if anyone bids on him besides Benfica. I feel like we could do better than getting 25 million spread out across clauses. I say that and offer him out. Valencia have offered 9.5 million, just locked in. I mean, they're taking the mick more than Benfica. Reject that. Go away. Sanchez is unhappy. Renato, look, the finances weren't right on the deal they were offering. 52 million. We're never getting 52 million for him, but at least he's going to stay around, so that's good. And I mean, if we did get a 52 million pound bid, I'll pack his bags for him. I will send him on his way. It worked with Guiri, so I'm going to try it with Soleil as well. I'm just going to offer him out for an unspecified price. I feel like with Soleil, I dislike the fact he doesn't like big games. And he's a player who seems to constantly be unhappy and want to move. Real Madrid have made a bid for Raspadori. We'll address that in a moment. Monaco made a bid for Soleil. Apparently he's not interested in talking to Monaco. They've only bid 33 million. I'm going to reject that. We're getting offers from Saudi Arabia for Galini, who's a fantastic backup goalkeeper. 2 years left on his contract. He's not going anywhere. He is apparently unhappy at the moment because he wants a new challenge. His new challenge is to enjoy keeping our bench warm. That's what I've decided. And Raspadori bid It's 80 million, but it's spread out over a few different clauses over a few years, which will all be met. It's just, you know, future fees. I want the money now. And you know what I love to see here? Raspadori, no interest in speaking to Real Madrid. I love him. I love him. Reject. Get out my face. Marco wants to discuss issues. Marco, you don't need a new contract. We can't afford it. Just lie. Just lie. Marco, we can't afford a new contract. You've got 3 years on your current one. Enjoy it while you can. I realise we're a week into this transfer special. I've not made any transfer offers yet. I'm kind of waiting to see if Guiri moves on and still trying to move on some other players. As I said, I've kind of got this policy of 1 in, 1 out. PSG have offered me a job interview. PSG have offered me a job interview. Why have PSG offered me a job? Do I take the job? It's PSG. I'm one of the top candidates. It'd be kind of controversial, wouldn't it, if this series just ended with me going to PSG. But I mean, game recognises game, right? Who's their hot prospect? I'm always curious. Is he's the hot prospect. He is rubbish. And then they've got Mbappe as well. He's quite good, isn't he? I mean, they've sacked their last manager, I assume. Who was the last manager? Okay, it was just Gaultier. They didn't actually sack him. Oh, did they sack him? Or has he just decided to go to Roma? He left his role to go to Roma. Imagine leaving PSG just to go to Roma. That's mental. Well, imagine going to Atalanta to go to PSG. That would be mental too. Turning down the job interview. Some of you were panicking. Some of you were already halfway through a well thought out comment as to whether or not I should or shouldn't take the PSG job. I'm here to tell you now, I'm not leaving. I am sat thinking to myself, if I sold Renato Sanchez, I could get in Sandro Tonali. I could do that. That's an option. But 87 million's a lot. Can we go for a little bit less? I'm kind of putting in a bid here, not actually interested. You know those time-wasting bidders on eBay back in the day? I am one of them. 50, they want a lot of money in clauses. You know what? I'm going to give them 50 million locked in and hope that he kicks up a stink. It's a non-negotiable offer. Sandro, if you want this move, you will cry a lot until you get the move. Let's see how much he pushes to get it. They're not accepting that bid, so I don't really know why I'm doing it. Renato Sanchez hasn't even got a bid on him. No one wanted him. But, you know, plan for any eventuality. That's what I was told. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Or in this case, just prepare to sell players for the sake of it. I keep getting bids on Endor. Endor is not leaving this club. He's one of the only homegrown players in our entire team. And whilst he's nothing special whatsoever, people keep bidding on him. They can leave him alone. Elsewhere, Napoli have made a bid for Notto. Notto is not available. And the Guiri bid, not Guiri bid, sorry, the Tonali bid was rejected. So I'm just going to cancel. Hope he complains. Right now, the Guiri deal is the only thing that's happening. If we get the 29 million, I'm going to go and spend it big. But if we don't, I don't know what the plan is. It's going to be a weird transfer special episode. More teams are bidding on Pellegrini. They're not offering good deals. He's valued at least 27 million. The highest bid there is 18 million with clauses from Newcastle. What are they doing? Why are they wasting my time? Now he's annoyed he doesn't get to go to Newcastle. Raspadori, solve this problem. He's not solved this problem. He wants wages. He wants a new contract. The bid wasn't good enough. The bid was not good enough. My asking price for you, 39.5 million. That's never happening. I don't know why I'm able to set these high asking prices. It was the same with Renato Sanchez. I'm not going to question it. Works for me. This whole episode is going to be really, really awkward if Guiri just turns down this move. Because if he doesn't leave, I don't think I can make a big, sexy thumbnail signing. I don't know who we're going to sell. No one else is even attracting any interest. The players who I thought I might be able to move on, I've not been able to move on so far. Stop bidding on Endor. I need my door. It'll get cold in winter without him. Okay, good news. Guiri, £29 million is going to Leipzig. We've had a good time together, Guiri. Signed for 15 million. Played 20 games last year. Didn't really play all that badly, to be fair, but he only started 14. I feel like it's time to move him on. Look for a new Italian stallion striker. Moise Keane is too expensive and buying a bid on him. But there's got to be another option out there. I probably should have planned for this before I sold Guiri, but I've just confirmed the deal now, haven't I? So he's gone. He's on the plane to Germany. Right, how much money do we have? 80 million for another new striker. Probably doesn't need to be a superstar, but if there is a superstar out there, I'll sign them. I've just remembered we've got Eddie Salcedo in the under-20s, who's a backup striker option. Remember when I thought this guy was good? I spent 5.5 million on him. Look how bad he is. He scored 11 goals in Serie C last year. There is absolutely no way I'm making my money back on him, is there? I mean, I'm going to offer him out for an unspecified amount. Are there any other players in this youth team that I should be getting rid of? Obviously, the good players we don't really want to get rid of. Could we promote Rafael Luiz? Could he be playing with the big boys next year? He's not a bad player at all, to be fair. Canotto's here, Salcedo. Yeah, I don't think there's a load of players to cash in on. But if anyone wants Salcedo, I'll take him. Otherwise, I don't know what the plan is. He is really bad. Little update. No one bid on Salcedo. No one wants him. Elsewhere, apparently Bayern are interested in discussing terms on Sesko. 92 million. If they bid that, I probably would have to consider it. Apparently Hertha Berlin, I was going to say apparently they've made an offer. They have made an offer. They've offered like 29 million or 30 million is the potential value. His transfer value, according to the market, is 67 to 85 million. Now, which is it, Football Manager? Is he a £30 million player or is he a £67 million player? Because there is a big gap there and I don't understand it. I'm gonna reject. Get out of my face. He's not available for that price. I got told he might cry about me declining it. He'll get over it. I was looking just earlier at Italian striking options. There are some options. I'm somewhat tempted to go and get Immobile for the year, but apparently Lazio don't want to sell him. Just having a look through Italian striking options, there's no one that really jumps out at me. I noticed a bit of an old Football Manager classic, Indriusi. Can anyone remember this guy? Once upon a time, this man was a wonder kid. He looks remarkably average now. And another weird player I spotted, just sorting by world reputation, is Xiao Klaus here. Now, I'm not going to pretend to have heard of this guy. He's Italian, but apparently he's Brazilian, but apparently he's part Italian. He has played in Brazil. He moved to Hoffenheim for a bit. He played in Finland, Austria, 4 games in the Bundesliga, moved to Standard, and apparently for the last 4 years he's been playing for St. Louis FC in the USA. I guess the USL League somewhere. Is this man real? Why is his reputation so high? I have loads of questions to ask. Apparently, he's bigger than Scamacca in the world of football. I don't get it either. There's not a load of Italian striking options kind of jumping out. Moise Kean is an interesting one, but I'm just not sure he's worth 50 million. I'm wondering, can I loan him for the year? Will they let me loan him for the year? You know, a try before you buy kind of deal. Should we see? Suggest? I don't want to leave him out on loan. What if I include an optional future fee? The thing is, 50 million is how much they want for him. He's not a £50 million player, is he? He's just not. I mean, compare him to Guiri. I've just sold the bloke in blue for 29 million. And apparently the guy in green is worth 50. No. I feel like I'm working on a different market to everyone else. Another option with our money is to go for someone like Zaniolo. Zaniolo, a really good centre-mid attacking option, but also someone who can play as a striker. Now, whether or not you'd want him to be your main striker, I'm going to be honest, probably not. But if we just look at our actual striking options with kind of Luca here, we've got Sesko, Raspadori, Luca, Canotto, and then our 5th choice is Conlon, who is one of our youth intake players. He is currently the 5th best striker. I need a better 5th option than that. And Zaniolo is a maybe. I'm a bit concerned about his injury history. He could certainly slot in at centre-mid as well for us, though. And another man who I've already talked about is actually Thiago Almada, who we could train to play as a striker. That could be quite fun. Thiago Almada, striker. At the moment, apparently, he'd be a dreamy false 9. But I'm looking at him as an advanced forward thinking that could work. And also, he's just an absolutely quality centre-mid. He's got a release clause of 67 million. Now, 67 million for Almada is not cheap. But we've got the money. And it'd be fun. And he is quite good. And I mean, the other striking options are players like Kouame here, who doesn't excite me. Diego Rossi playing at Fenerbahce. No. Pellegrini. No. The striking options that I need aren't really out there. I should have thought this more before I sold Guiri, but I do feel like with Thiago Almada, we do have a good option. Apparently he wants to play as a centre attacking mid. I can't promise you that, mate. You might be playing as a striker for us. Apparently he wants 140k a week. Our current highest earner is on 120. Do you reckon he'll go down to 120? I don't want to ruin the wage budget for a centre mid who I might end up playing as a striker, even though I don't need a centre mid. Okay, he has accepted that 120k. On the one hand, I'm sat here thinking this is a really good deal. On the other hand, I'm wondering, is this really the best way to address the striking issue? And whilst the answer is probably no, I still think it's a good deal. Have I lost the plot? I might have done. Rovella, by the way, still upset about the fact he didn't go to Hertha Berlin. Raspadori's not solved the issue. Rovella. The valuation wasn't good enough. He wants 88 million. Yeah, sure. If they bid 88 million, I'll sell you. I don't understand these deals that I'm having to do with all my players, but they seem to think they're worth way more than the AI thinks they're worth and closer to what I think they're worth. Nothing makes sense today. I am somewhat concerned that 2 weeks into the transfer special, I've not signed anyone yet. I'm already planning the thumbnail of this video to be, oh my god, PSG job offer. Napoli have offered a bid for Pablo Torre. I love Pablo Torre, oh my word, he's awful in game. Hark to Primera legend last year. If you didn't see the Racing series, you missed out on this guy. I promise you he's better than this. How much did they bid? 29 million! Napoli, you are being taken for a ride. Every time I hit continue, we just get a different offer on Pellegrini. I will sell him for 39.5 million. And I was about to say not a penny less. Leipzig have actually bid that money. Apparently he's not interested in going to Leipzig. I'm going to accept it. If he goes to Leipzig for 39 million, I will need to get a backup left mid who can play left back. But it's 39 million for a backup. There's got to be someone who's competent at left back who can just do the job for us, right? I mean, Matthias Wiener? Is he not bad, or am I going crazy? Let me compare him. I wasn't planning on selling Pellegrini. I'll be honest, I didn't think they were going to accept that offer. I mean, he's definitely better, isn't he? For 17 to 25. He can play left mid, he can play left back, he can play centre back to Matthias Wiener. And he's 26. I'm gonna make an offer now, and if Pellegrini's deal goes through, then we'll just sign Wiener. And if the offer doesn't go through, I might just sign Wiener anyway, because he looks quite good. Okay, deal negotiated, 22 million. So if Pellegrini leaves and Wiener comes in, we're going to be laughing. Also, probably should scout him. A great deal gets better. Wiener is happy to be a squad player. Could you go impact sub? Oh, is it wrong that I'm falling in love with a backup left back option here? Oh, if you do 55k, you will be my best friend, Matthias. You will be my best friend. I will add you as my brother on Facebook. You know, like how you used to do that thing back in the day on Facebook, where you make friends, family members. Wiener, you can be my brother on Facebook. There we go. 55k, living the dream. I actually now hope Pellegrini goes. I'm going to try and piss him off. Right, happiness. Agreed playing time. I'm changing you to emergency backup. Oh, he's unhappy. You're not part of my plans anymore. I'm moving forward with these changes. Just make him upset. Make him sad. Go to Germany. Pellegrini, leave. I will pack his bags for him too. I want Matthias in. Scout report in for Wiener. Consistent. Loves imported matches. You can see here. Italian secondary nationality. He's perfect. If only there was a version of him that played on the right-hand side. I'd be in Wonderland right now. Still not sure if this is the right thing to do, but Almada set to sign for Atalanta. I'm going to delay this just so I can try and find some clarity in the next 10 minutes of hitting continue. Elsewhere, still waiting to hear back on Wiener and Pellegrini. If these deals happen, though, we'll have like 17 million excess, and even after the Almada deal, we'll still like have, what, 30 million pounds in the bank? It'd still be some quite nice money to maybe have a play with and try and sign a few players. I realise I could have used clauses. Actually, no. I was going to say I could have used clauses with Almada to stagger out the funds. I actually couldn't have done. The only reason we were able to bid on him is because he's got that release clause. 67 million, it's a lot of money. I think it's probably a very good bit of business. Look at those mentals. Look at those. You know what? I was umming and ahhing. I've changed my mind. Ask for confirmation. Thiago, join us. Welcome to Atalanta. I've done it now. I can't go back. I might have got carried away. He's very good, though. He's very, very good. Would it be terrible now to try and sell Zach Karyan? Would that be too far? I mean, I'm looking at him thinking, centre mid on attack, you are dreamy. But I think I am actually going to train him to play as a striker, just because I think he actually could be a really, really good striker within our system. And I feel like having someone like Almada who can play centre mid and striker, that is unbelievable flexibility to have in games to really allow us to throw men forward. Oh, I might not sound it. I am very, very excited about Almada joining us. He is quality. I am now sat here looking at Zach Karyan thinking, I've just signed Almada. You're valued quite highly. I might live to regret this if I piss him off and make him sad. I'm going to offer him out for unspecified. If an offer came in of more than 70 million, I would absolutely take it. We've had a bid of 35 million. 80? Okay, never, but I've got carried away here, haven't I? 80? I don't really want to sell him for less than Almada. We'll just keep him around. Why not have loads of talented centre mids on attack? I realise now, though, I probably could sell Renato Sanchez if I wanted to. Offered out Renato. No one wants him. I've now just got an Almada, who is the new backup striker, but will probably also start at centre mid. This is fine. Okay, Vina is confirmed to be signing for us. I have to delay this because we can't afford it unless, obviously, Pellegrini leaves, which is the whole reason I'm signing Vina. I'm really hoping that Pellegrini is going to leave us for that 39 million. It is a ridiculous offer from Leipzig that I can't actually believe they matched and did. When I kind of offered it back to them, I was expecting it to be thrown in my face. Instead, they actually considered it. I'm just now concerned he's not going to leave. Also, Saudi Arabia really want Galini. He's not for sale. I'm going to set an asking price on him. I'm sick of these stupid bids. I would like 20 million. Bid it and we can chat. Galini, we're not talking. You've got 2 years left on your current deal. Stop crying. I think the really nice unspoken thing actually about the deal involving Guiri leaving is it should open up a lot more opportunities for Notto to play this year. He had a few appearances last year. He actually got 6 goals in 8 games and looked really, really good. But I didn't get to play him enough. And there's so much interest in him that I kind of feel like he must have something about him, right? For all these, when you look at the list of teams interested, he must be quite good. So actually, in bringing in Almada, who obviously isn't the most natural 4th or 5th choice striker, but can be an emergency option there, Wilfred will get more games this year, and actually, that could be really, really exciting. I feel like I didn't really big up his goal-scoring record when he did play for us. He was solid. He was very, very solid. Wilfred, more games for you this year. Hope you're excited. Okay, some good news to end today. Pellegrini is going to head to Leipzig, 39.5 million. We get 38 of that as part of our budget. We are going to confirm that. And with him now leaving the club, and Raspadori getting injured, I panicked for a moment there. We can now confirm the signing of Vina, who I think is a very, very good option for us. 26 years old, partly Italian. Started his career, if we look here, playing in Uruguay. Played for Roma for a few years. Yes, it's not an insignificant amount of money we're paying him, but I think he's kind of the ideal player for our system, especially, obviously, with the money that we're making. We need to get a replacement in. The fact that we essentially get about £17 million by selling Pellegrini and signing Vina, whilst also, I'd argue, getting in an actual upgrade of a player, it just makes sense as business. Anyway, you might have been able to detect from the tone of my voice there, I need to stop today's episode right now. We've been playing for quite a long while. We have played just over 3 weeks. There's still quite a lot that we could maybe do with our remaining budget. £28 million, still just under £100,000 in the wages. I asked it last episode, but I'll ask you guys again now. You can kind of see the current team. Who should I be looking to move on? Where should we be looking to strengthen? I feel like in getting in Thiago Almada, we've added in a talismanic centre mid. I feel like I've not really bigged up just how good this man is. He looks absolutely sensational for us. I think he is going to fit into our system so, so well. And at 23 years old, he's got his best years ahead of us. Of course, Guiri leaving, a little bit sad, but nevertheless, I think it's just a deal that makes sense. And yeah, with the money that we have left, we could look to improve. I do look at our non-Italian defence and think, maybe Badiashile, maybe Romero, maybe Slay, maybe 2 of those 3 names I should be looking to shift on next time out. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've enjoyed today's episode, as always, do drop a like on it. I'll see you guys again soon for more. And until then, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.